Gakuran is a Roblox game that aims to replicate life as a teenager in 2000s Japan, featuring a really great vibe and cool mechanics. Though intended to be a slice of life, it is mainly used as a fighting game for the lowest of the low of the Roblox community. Now, don't get me wrong, the game has its charm and being able to play in a band is a really cool feature. But outside of it, the fighting could be a lot better and the community is just... Featuring people who think it's funny to rollbang every feminine looking avatar, trying to get the attention of every female possible and or harassing every female possible, the game is a breeding ground for the weirdest and most toxic people in this game. A great way to describe this game is the hood for people who want to be Japanese, but it wasn't always like this. Gakuran released on November 19th, 2025, and at the start it averaged around 100 to 150 players, and it was a tight-knit community. The people played it for what it was, a slice of life in 2000s Japan. Though admittedly, the map was larger and there was more to do than sit in school and fight. But eventually the thing that happens to most games occurred to Gakuran. It blew up on TikTok. Hundreds of videos started rolling out and thousands of people flocked to the game. And suddenly the player count exploded, and in came the toxicity and borderline weird behavior. I touched on this earlier, but I'll explain more in depth about what I meant by the hood for people who want to be Japanese. The hood needs no explanation. It's well known for its weird and edgy player base, and it's completely fair comparing it to Gakuran. Considering that they share player bases, although the gameplay is only slightly comparable with how both games are social hangouts with fighting aspects. But in the hood, you use guns and, well, speed hacks, and in Gakuran you use different fighting styles and hides to gain an advantage and... oh yeah. So far, I've only talked about the community behind the game, but the developers of Gakuran are not innocent either. I won't be going over the stolen map controversy because there was already enough coverage of it, but for a quick TLDR, one of Gakuran's earlier maps were stolen from another game.
Even the 7-Eleven is copied, bro. Bar for bar. Even the cafe, bro. Everything, bar for bar.
Yep. And
it wasn't fucking maturity level. They lied. They completely lied to everyone.
Yep.
This ain't no maturity level, gang. They copied a whole map.
Everything in Gakuran is stolen.
Is this new Gakuran? No, this is another game entirely. Gakuran copied the whole map and just revised it.
Yep.
But this isn't what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about the game's downright predatory monetization. Of course, there's nothing wrong with the game looking to make money to pay its developers and fund future projects, but it's only wrong if the monetization is done through intense low probability gambling. It is meant to fool the players with purposely setting the gambling prices low, like 5 Robux for a reroll on a fighting style. Like, obviously that's a low price to pay, but that's where they get you. Doing some quick math, the Robux quickly adds up. Obviously this is gambling, and you could either get it from first roll or millionth, but these are the average percentages. So to have the closest to 100% chance of getting a legendary fighting style, which are the most OP in the game, obviously, you'd have to roll around 688 times, which would cost you around 3,440 Robux, and you see now? It adds up quickly, and this is how the developers get you. Though seemingly spending low amounts of Robux with ridiculously low chances, they get you to spend a lot of Robux in no time at all, and this is only the fighting style. Guess what else you have to gamble for? Everything. Aside from setting your name, everything else is something you have to gamble for. Want a different hair? Gamble. Want a different pair of accessories? Gamble. Now you can probably see how predatory this is, but that doesn't stop there. Guess what else you have to gamble for? Something tame like earrings, right? Or something like that, right? No! You have to gamble for ethnicities and most importantly, skin colors. Hey, you want to look like yourself in real life? Oh, you're African American? Go gamble, will you? So, to be dark-skinned in this game, you'd have to gamble more than 500 Robux to have above a 70% chance of getting it. This is a chart of all ethnicities. While having to gamble for them is weird, it would be fine if all the ethnicities were the same. But guess what? Aside from having to gamble for ethnicity, some ethnicities are worse than others, and take a guess which one is the best one. Of course, it's the European, as it's the one who lets you be the tallest. What do you get from being taller? Looking cooler, of course. Wait, what? You have more range? Seriously? Unbelievable. After doing all this research, I wanted to find out hypothetically how much it would cost and how long would you have to gamble to be a 6'5" European with a legendary fighting style. And while this is a massive hypothetical, I know people who gamble for these very stats and the numbers are looking of a 99% chance of getting the best combo in game. It would cost more than 25 million Robux and more than 2 million rolls. Many people have already realized this, but for those who haven't, the chances are not for you. The chances are for the developers. For the longest time, there was no free way of getting rolls. Recently, they added codes you can redeem for free rerolls, which is great and all, but doesn't it just want to make the user gamble more? After wasting their free rerolls and not getting what they wanted, or maybe getting something worse, they're gonna want to gamble more and last gamble for real money. And guess what? The game doesn't have a pity system, so even if you roll 1,000,000 times, you are never guaranteed to getting a legendary. I just find this crazy and how all of this went under the radar. But I think that's enough about gambling and probabilities. You guys get that the gambling is extremely predatory and there's no way to certainly get something you wanted. Turning to the discussion about the community, I really think Gakuran weren't ready for this explosion of players. They are understaffed and don't have enough staff responding to the tickets on Discord. They are so understaffed that they had to remove role banging from the set of rules so they don't get reports about that anymore. I really think removing rules isn't the best method when it comes to things like this, because this just further encourages the community to be weird. And when you put all of these issues together, you start to see a bigger picture. The toxicity didn't appear out of nowhere, and the game's problems weren't caused by one single thing. It was a combination of rapid growth, questionable game design, and a community that evolved into something far removed from what the game was originally trying to be. Gakuran didn't fail because the idea was bad. It failed because the thing that made it unique slowly became the least important part of it. A game about living as a teenager in 2000 Japan became known for fighting, harassment, and gambling for basic identity choices. The community changed, the systems encouraged it, and the original charm started disappearing. But hey, maybe Gakuran can change. Maybe developers can fix these issues and bring back the feeling the game had when it was smaller. But until then, Gakuran remains a strange example of how a game can have a great idea, a passionate community, and still lose sight of what made people love it in the first place. This isn't the usual type of video I want to make, but this was something that's been on my mind recently and I really wanted to express my opinion on it. Of course, no hate to anyone who plays Gakuran or the developers themselves, but I really hope they just improve in the future. Anyway, that's all. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.